Please, like and subscribe, follow. Ooh.
Bruh.
From Skavenblight, a deep trench has been dredged, reaching through the blighted marshes and emerging on the coast of the Chilean Sea. The ramshackle vessels of the Skaven fleet tirelessly trek up and down this dismal waterway, on unfathomable errands for the Skaven warlords who dwell deep within Skavenblight. In times of war, the Skaven Clanfleets emerge from their hidden marshside moorings, their great paddles splashing the fetid water as they head for the sea. The chimes of the great bells split the still air, the warp-fire throwers roar, and the death-burners blow gouts of hideous vapours across the marshes. The Skaven Clanfleets assemble in the estuary of the immense canal, their banners hanging still in the damp, salt-laden air. From the blighted marshes they venture the length of the Chilean Sea. When the Skaven are afloat, cities such as Tobaro, Miralingo, Rimas, and even Lucchini never really feel secure. They do not know when the tolling of the great bell will be heard, and when the warp raiders will come to sear their villages and towns. When they do, the war fleets of Tilea and any Empire allies who are at hand do battle with the Skaven fleets, staining the sea and sky red with fire and blood. The Skaven clan fleets are not renowned for venturing much further than the Chilean Sea, but recently their clan ships have been sighted off the Estalian coast, and tales are told of Skaven vessels striking as far north as Brionne. No one can be sure if the Skaven clan fleets venture southwards, but it seems likely that the mysterious land of Araby and the Southlands are familiar and easy pickings for the clan fleets. It is even harder to guess at the Skaven's desires and designs on these far-flung realms. The Skaven clan fleets are dangerous opponents, not so much because of excellent ships or fine seamanship, but because of the sheer weight of numbers that they employ. Skaven ships are crewed by hundreds of clan rats, slaves and storm vermin, and their best ships carry rat ogres to add extra might. When boarding an enemy ship, a Skaven vessel is a fearsome opponent, and it is packed with a huge number of rat men, overwhelming and spilling, flooding, and slaughtering their victims. A Skaven clan fleet typically consists of many small fireships scurrying around the great bell of doom sitting in the centre of the fleet. Clan pestilence death burners watch for opportunities created by the warp raiders, waiting for crippled ships to pick off and destroy. Skaven vessels are a ramshackle construction of wood and metal, created by the engineers of Clan Scryer. They are mostly powered by huge slave-driven paddle wheels. While the actual movement rate of the Skaven ship may vary, depending on its size and how hard the slaves are being beaten currently, they all turn the same way as sailing ships. They may move backwards and forwards with equal ease, and may reverse direction in the middle of a move. They are unaffected by wind direction. Clan Scurvy is a warlord clan best known for being a bunch of mangy cutthroats, and many bear the scars of their trade, including lost eyes and limbs. Clan Scurvy holds the largest of all the Skaven clan fleets, having gnawed out the cavern harbour known as Spineport. From here the clan's ramshackle fleet reaps a fortune, and no small amount of dread repute, from piracy, much of which is spent on buying and press-ganging replacement slaves to replenish the fleet's short-lived crew. Clan Scurvy's spoils are also supplemented by salvaging rocks off the coast of the Isle of Sirens. bounty that is hauled back to the clan's secret lair beneath the Tillian city of Torbaro. On board a clan ship, every Skaven is the suspect of mutiny, which is just as well, as they are all planning to do it sooner or later. No claw captain keeps command for long, unless he is utterly ruthless, and those that lapse for even a moment tend to fall overboard or accidentally walk the plank. Because mutiny is so rampant, the claw packs that serve in Clan Scurvy tend to adopt the icons of their ship, rather than those of any particular claw captain. Variations of the rat skull and crossed bones are common motifs. Ships of Clan Scurvy, such as the clan ship Bubonic, Black Pox, and the Teeth of Spineport, have been plaguing the seas for many decades. Notable members of Clan Scurvy include Warlord Vrisk Ironsnatch, the Fleet Master of the Clanfleet, and Skretch, the captain of the Scabrous. This Scurvian warlord, known as Skretch, was once a prosperous piratical mastermind. Skretch had backstabbed his way to captaincy over the corpses of his former allies. He and his vermin-infested fleet were the scourge of the Tilean coastline, raiding from the Skaven city of Spineport to Sartosa and back in search of slaves and treasure. Then came a fateful encounter that set Skretch spiraling into darkness and undeath. The Skaven have always had a fascination with the crystallized form of dark magic known as warpstone. The rat men obsess about it constantly. To them it is a drug, a delicacy, a gateway to power, and an engine for their eldritch magics, all rolled into one. No matter how much gold Skretch amassed, or how many Skaven slaves he put to work in the rotten egg stink of his brass engine rooms, only the sickly green-black glow of warpstone could calm his skitter, violent moods. It was because of his unquenchable lust for warpstone that Skretch commanded his ramshackle fleet to seek out the fabled galleon's graveyard, a place so rich in power it positively reeked of crystallized magic. In a way, Skretch's quest was successful. The night before Geheimnisnacht, where Morslib and Manslib hang full in the sky, Skretch's sharp-eyed rat slaves saw a luminous green glow in the mists ahead. Ordering full sail, Skretch rubbed his claws in glee. Surely this was the light of a large warpstone hall ready for the taking. As they neared the green glow up ahead, a pair of bulbous eyes blinked open, and a cavernous maw gaped, filled with hundreds of teeth the length of bowsprits. It was a titanic orb leviathan, a sea monster many times the size of Skretch's largest warship. A bioluminescent lure dangled from its massive broad head, glowing a bilious green. The carnage that followed was incredible. The panicking Skaven unleashed every weapon they had at the fell creature, their rickety brass doom engines and warp lightning cannons sending vivid beams of unnatural energy into its flanks. Ultimately, they only angered the beast. The Leviathan went into a gnashing, thrashing frenzy, until all that remained of Skretch's fleet was matchwood and the bobbing spheres of crackling brass. The Leviathan saved Skretch's flagship for last, opening its vast maw so wide it bit the vessel clean in half. Miraculously, although Skretch's flagship was crunched into pieces, most of the Skaven crew were swallowed whole and hence survived. In the darkness of the beast's gut, Skretch's army of rat warriors skittered and screeched. They were down, but certainly not out. In the fetid darkness, the rat men fought back, devouring the sea monster's heart and gnawing at the beast's insides until it was little more than a fleshy shell. The beast eventually shuddered and expired with a great titanic sigh. Despite their efforts, the exhausted ratmen were still trapped inside, bloated, asphyxiating in the nauseous stench of the sea monster's bile. One by one, the Skaven wheezed their way into the afterlife, futile curses upon their bloody lips. As is the way of all dead things in the great ocean, the corpse of the great sea beast eventually washed up in the galleon's graveyard. There it was discovered by Count Noctilus, who saw great potential in such a monstrous guardian. Noctilus cast a mighty necromantic ritual, a spell so powerful for this great beast that it not only brought necromantic energy into the brain of the mighty orc Leviathan, but unbeknownst to the Count, also the rotting Skaven within its gut were clawed back from the clutches of death. Perhaps it was the sheer amount of warpstone Skretch and his ratmen had ingested over the years, or it was their frantic drive to succeed, but something of their treacherous character remained intact, even after their dark resurrection. In the stinking red-black secrecy of the monster's gut, the unliving Skaven worked ceaselessly under Skretch's direction, marshalling the wreckage of their fleet and rebuilding deck, scaffold, and engine so that the beast itself became their vessel. When they felt the call of Count Noctilus begin to take hold of their undead minds, the Skaven sounded their great warpstone, screaming bell, mounted atop the sea monster's flat cranium, to drown out his necromantic magic. They ripped aside great curtains of the beast's rotten skin, and opened fire with the very same warp lightning cannons that had once been the pride and joy of Skretch's own flagship. Count Noctilus was impressed. The Leviathan ship, christened the Scabrous by its master Skretch, seemed to pose a genuine threat to the mighty Bloody Reaver. The fact that the monstrous beast now clearly belonged to its last meal was weighed against the chance for winning an unusual new ally. Calling for a parley, the vampire sent Skretch an emissary, inviting him to meet face to face, and struck a bargain. As much warpstone as the Skaven captain desired, in exchange for eternal servitude in the Dreadfleet. Skretch knew a good deal when he saw one, and readily agreed, at least for the foreseeable future. So it was the monstrous vessel known as Scabrous was born, its captain a corpse within a corpse, and its unliving crew as verminous, callow, and vicious as ever.
Phenomenal, you wish you were. I am the best I ever been. I tried to be the best of men. You know. Some support by my side.